What up, folks? So, I want to talk about something that I just found out about this. Now, we all know the whole suicide thing, right? How people can't take it anymore and they go through so much and then suddenly they end their lives, right? Well, there is a thing, apparently. It's a term known as secondhand suicide. And I was like, "What? What is that? What is that?" So I started like researching a little bit. And apparently, it's where, someone's in life, they're going about their lives, but they feel like they have no purpose. Waking up every day is pointless. Or, why am I even here? How can I even matter to my friends, to my family? Maybe I'm a massive disappointment, that kind of stuff. And it's where they want to die. They do. But they don't want to do it themselves. They don't have the courage, I guess you'd say, to pull the trigger or take the pills or something like that. So they're waiting for something else to do it for them. Like a car accident, maybe. Or the hope of maybe I'll go to sleep tonight and just not wake up. Or some other sort of freak of nature accident or something like that. And I thought, man, I wonder how many people in this world are walking around with that same mindset. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to wake up, you know, but I just can't bring myself to end it. And so they have secondhand suicide, where they're waiting for something else to do it for them. And I was like, man, think about that. Kids go to school, get bullied. They come home. Finally, they've had enough. And some of them end it. And it's really sad. Like, really sad. For anyone going through something like that, it's really sad. And they say that the people that would do it are the ones that never talk about it. But then the ones that are constantly talking about it are the ones crying out for help. Which that is definitely true. I know that for certain because I've had some family members to commit suicide. I had a cousin shot himself with a shotgun. And then I had another family member to overdose. And then what happened to him? I'm trying to remember what happened. It's been a long time. What was it? Oh, maybe there was just two. Just two that I can remember. Because, I was young whenever one of them happened, so I can't really remember that one. But man, like, secondhand suicide, where like you're waiting for something to kill you. Like, wow. It just kind of blew my mind. I was like, I've never heard of that before. And no one ever wants to talk about this stuff. It's sort of a taboo to be talking about mental health, right? Well, mental health is very important. And to anyone out there that's going through something like this, like depression or suicidal thoughts, tendencies, maybe you've tried it before. Try and talk to people. It could be your closest friends, family, or maybe you have to go and do what most people don't want to do, go to a therapist for it, start getting medication for it. Some people feel that they don't want to take the medication because it might, make it worse. And I have heard that yes, some of the side effects of those medications can cause depression and suicidal thoughts in teens and young adults to be worse. And if that happens, you're supposed to call the doctor, get taken off of it immediately. I think that's crazy. Why are they subscribing or prescribing these people those kind of medications if it's going to make it worse? Shouldn't they be giving you something to help you? Not to make it worse, you know? But anyway, back to the point here. I was just sitting here. I saw it on YouTube. This guy was talking about this. And he said, that he don't know if it's an actual term, but that's what he calls it. And I was researching it. And I found out that some other people also call it that. Secondhand suicide. And I was like, man, think about how much secondhand smoke kills. Apparently. I've been around it all my life. I'm still here. But anyway, think about that. And what's the suicide rate for teens, females, and males? Male suicide is up 75% more likely than females. But what about the ones that don't do it? It's probably even higher because people are waiting for something else to do it for them. It's crazy. And I was recording music last night with my buddy and some people that he knows. And we were thinking of names for a project. And I just, kind of mentioned that to him. They're like, you want to use that? And I was like, that's just way too dark. I would not want to do that. But, started to ask them if they had ever heard of something like that, but I didn't want to bring the mood down. Because, like I said, a lot of people don't like to talk about this stuff. But, man, I've been thinking about that all day long today. It's like I probably know people in my life. People that are closest to me, even, that are just waiting for something to kill them. It's wild, man. I mean, I've had depression, I've had a lot of depressive days before, but I've never once thought of the, suicide. I never once thought of that. Music has always been there to save me, and it saves more than anybody knows. But some people, maybe they can't find it. They can't find their saving grace. And so they're just walking out in the world, just waiting for something to take them out. And I've never felt that way before, but I could kind of, if I ever had someone come to me and say they're feeling that way, maybe I could try to help somehow. I don't know. Because, it's difficult when someone's in that state to talk them down, so to speak, or talk them out of it. I heard about someone, it was actually from a DVD, a band DVD. I can't remember which band, but there was this guy talking about being a fan of this band, and he was going through a suicidal moment. And his best friend comes to him and tells him, hey man, you can't do that. Think about what you're going to leave behind. Think about the people that are going to miss you. Don't do it. And I'm telling you, please don't do it, And he didn't. He woke up the next morning and finds out that his best friend, after talking to him about the same thing, hung himself in his kitchen and died that night. Sometime over in that night. And I was like, wow. And I guess maybe he might have had like a secondhand suicide thing, but then he, nothing would ever happen. So he finally just did it. I don't know. But as I was thinking about this, I was like, that kind of popped in my head. I think it was a Lamb of God DVD, actually. The As the Palaces Burn documentary. It's on there. One of their fans. The Resolution album, he said, is what really turned him around. That's the one. I know that for sure. So if you guys want to hear that story, go pick that DVD up. But like, man, I never knew that such a thing existed. Well, I'm sure that people are walking around here waiting to die, just do it. But somehow they find a way to keep pushing, keep moving forward. Even though they have on their shoulder, I can't wait for something to just take me out. Those are the ones that hide it the best. Most definitely. They've probably had nights by themselves where they're screaming at the world, they're breaking things, sitting in the bathtub, rocking back and forth, screaming their guts out. Because they feel like they're breaking inside or they're already broken. And there's nothing that can fix them. That's the only thing that I can think of that it might stem from. But go and see if you guys can learn about this secondhand suicide thing. Man, that is just crazy to me. Like, wow. I've always wondered, what would you call something like that where you're just waiting for something to kill you? You're walking around. Maybe people get in the car. I hope I crash before I get where I'm going or before I get home and it takes me out. Or I hope some crazy natural disaster happens and I don't make it through. A tornado, a hurricane, something like that. See if you guys can research it and find out about it. Because man, it still blows my mind. Even right now, and I've known about it for about 3 or 4 days now. And I don't mean to, bring the mood down on here. I normally don't get on here and discuss stuff like this. But I will tell you guys, if you are going through anything like that, please try and talk to someone and let it out. Because you don't want to walk around with too much in here. Or too much in here. Living inside your head is very dangerous. It can be very dangerous. So, try to talk to people. I know you hear that all the time. I know. But the right people, those are the ones that are going to listen and they're going to help. I mean, you can go tell people, some of them, they'll listen to you. They'll say they're listening, and it goes here, and then right out here. They're not hearing you. And we all feel that way, Like, you got some kind of problem going on, and you got to tell somebody. But they want to say, oh, yeah, man, but, this is what I've got going on today. They didn't hear you. It went in here and went out here. That is one thing that I never do to people. If someone comes to me with some sort of issue that is personal or, they're depressed real bad, I'll let them talk it out with me. I'll try to help if I can. And if they got to cry it out, just let them do it. Just let them sit here and cry it out. Punch something. Whatever it takes. Because I know what it feels like to feel like you don't belong. I know what it feels like to have people, you think everyone that looks at you is like, God, I hate you. I've been through that stuff. I've been there. I went through a crazy amount of bullying. Because, like I said before, because of my skinniness, my hyperness, I talk a lot. I talk over people. I'm very odd. I'm very socially awkward. And so, but those people, if I see them today, I've seen a couple, they're different. Something had to happen to them because I guess they grew up, because I've seen a couple that used to pick on me. And they're like, hey man, how you been and shit? Just like, Just like none of that stuff ever happened. Most of the time when it comes to that kind of thing, it's like they see something in you that they don't have. That's what it is. Maybe you got more friends than they do. Maybe people like you more than they like them. So they need to come at you and make you feel like you're this tall. See, that's the kind of shit that gives people these feelings of I'm worthless. I can't make it in this world. Why am I even here? I hope I don't wake up tomorrow, you know? That's what gives these people these feelings. And people don't understand, you know? They still don't, especially today. That what you say to somebody can have a massive impact on them. It can be a really good impact, or it can be something that you never knew happened. They go behind closed doors, you don't see them no more because they committed suicide. And then the ones that don't, like I said, are usually the ones that are carrying those feelings around and just waiting for something to end it for them. They stop taking care of themselves. They don't eat healthy. They don't eat right. They do all kinds of bad shit to their bodies. What will that do? Cause a heart attack, cause a stroke. Or, you know, they're hoping for a car accident, like I said. They're hoping for some like wild, crazy catastrophe to happen. Or how do you say that shit? Oh, hold on. Something catastrophic to happen. Like a freak accident. Or something like that. It's just, man, like, damn. I never knew that something like that could exist. A term for it is what I can't believe exists. Because I've never heard somebody ever put a label on those kinds of feelings. You know what I mean? Like, you can label suicide. You can label heart attack, stroke, cancer, HIV, you know? Or, oh man, kidney failure, brain aneurysm. There's all kinds of labels for that. Someone's finally put a label on carrying around the feelings that you can't express, that you don't want no one to know about. And it's called secondhand suicide. So, that's what I want to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, that's okay. You know, I don't normally talk about this kind of thing. So, everyone take care of yourselves out here. Please be good to each other every day. I know there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now. You don't ever know what someone's going through. You really don't. So always be good to them, man. Always. The kindness. You can't ever be too kind to anyone. So take care of yourselves, and I hope that you enjoyed.